Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. Today, I should say this evening, we are in the kitchen. I have gotten a good portion of my garden stuff caught up as far as the harvest and weeding and pulling things out. I still have some to do, but I'm feeling pretty good about being caught up on the outside. And now I need to catch up in the kitchen. And I have I keep a list on my refrigerator this time of year, and I just kind of list things that I need to get done so that I can kind of try to do them in order. You know, like if I bring a bunch of zucchini in, then I say shred zucchini and freeze, or you know, make zucchini relish, or make zucchini bread, or you know, make zucchini casserole and put it in the freezer. And so I need to start working on that list pretty hard, and tonight we have some time to do so before we have to bring the kids in for the evening. So that's what we're doing. We are in the kitchen. First thing I need to do is I need to get a batch of dog food started. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna just kind of work our way down the list. I'm not sure how much you know, we're gonna get done, but I will show you the state of my kitchen as far as harvest goes. So this is the squash and tomatoes, my very first tomatoes of the year. We've got some cracking on this one, but that's okay. This is a indigo blue, and this is a queen of the night. Look at that tomato, you guys. Is that not just absolutely gorgeous? So they're both saladette size tomatoes, but I've caught up, you know, finally caught up with the zucchini and crookneck coming in, but now I'm harvesting every day, and some's coming in every day. We still have this entire table of squash to contend with. Some of this I will just leave for decoration. You know, like these, I might just leave these for decoration. This is winter squash. So we have some acorns in here that are winter squash, so they just need to be moved to storage. I am gonna try to save a couple of these rampicantes as winter squash and see how they store. But all of the big zucchini melons there, crooknecks there, patty pans there, tomatillos, patty pans, zucchini, melon, more zucchini, crookneck, patty pan, and just in tonight, corn and okra. That okra won't last long, neither will those green beans. But harvested a bunch of corn tonight, so that's almost like 3/4 of a drawer. That's exciting. So I'm gonna run out to the freezer and get some meat to start cooking for the dog food, and we'll just jump into it. Come along, it'll be fun. While I do that though, I want to show you guys a really cool moment that I caught super early this morning. I've been going out super early in the mornings to shear the sheep, so I'm going out just after the sun comes up, and I caught something really, really kind of precious this morning. So I'm gonna pop that in here while I run out to the garage, and I'll be right back with you. I don't know how many generations that is. Oh, Mama spotted me. But it looks like 2 does and 2 babies in the hayfield. And the babies were just running around all crazy. I was in the barn super early in the morning. That mama's got me pegged. She's like, yeah, you're not coming any closer to my babies. It's pretty cool. Alright, let them enjoy their day. They'll find their way back to the opening once I leave them. Okay, the dog food's going to be fairly easy. I have pre-cooked and frozen rice, and so that is just going to go into a bowl so that the condensation doesn't leak all over. And we have, this is catfish from this last trip that I made to Oregon, and went with Mr. Wonderful and all of my friends on our annual Snake River catfishing trip. And this just so happens to be 7 pounds of catfish, which our dogs are very used to eating catfish. They love it. And if you're new here and you don't know or understand what's going on, let me just give you a quick explanation. We home cook for our dogs when we can. We are not home cooked dog food snobs by any means, but we do cook for them when we can. And when we have meat coming from the farm, or eggs, or an overabundance of fish that we catch, then we do home cook for them. I have a recipe that I have put together that works for me, and that recipe is very, it's very simple. I've kind of broken it down, and you can get pretty scientific with dog food. There's a lot of people out there that want you to do it a certain way. I'm not one of those people. I will tell you that you need to consult with your veterinarian and make sure that you're both on the same page as far as what you're doing. There is a really, really great website out there called Balance It. I'm not affiliated at all, and to be quite frank, I don't use it. But it did help me learn and do my research and come up with my own thing that works for me. There's a wealth of information on there. There's also Facebook groups that are great. But as a person in the dog industry, I will tell you this works for me and it works for my 5 dogs. But you need to find what works for you and your dog with your veterinarian. So, with that being said, my very simple recipe is 7 pounds of meat, 1.5 pounds of vegetables, 1 pound of a carbohydrate. We like to use brown rice. You can use all kinds of different things. Some people like to use white rice. Some people like to use barley, oats, wheat. That's just to name a few. My meats primarily consist of fish that we catch. There's certain kind of fish that we don't feed our dogs. We don't feed our dogs tuna, but we feed them, you know, freshwater fish. Catfish primarily is the fish that we feed our dogs. Sometimes there's some trout in there. Sometimes there's some sea bass in there. We feed them lamb, chicken, eggs. We will do an entire batch of dog food with the protein being 7 pounds of eggs, because on a farm we have a lot of eggs. Sometimes they get away from us, so we use them in our dog food. Beef, I try to keep it lean. I do try to keep my meat lean. I do try to trim the fat off of it before I cook it. And you know, like this was filleted, and we cut all the fat off and all of that, you know, at the cleaning station when we caught it before we froze it. So, but beef especially, I do like to make sure that I trim all the fat off. And pork, you can feed pork. Some people swear by it. For my dogs, so far, pork has been pretty fatty. So I use pork sparingly, and I usually only use lean cuts, which, you know, loin, lean chops, if they get, you know, if they're last year's and we're putting another hog in the freezer. But generally we eat the loin and the chops. So my dogs don't get a lot of pork per se, but there are some people out there that say that pork works great for their dogs. So again, do what's best for your dog. And usually I have a 1/2 pound of offal meat, which is organ meat. And most generally for us, that is kidney or heart. I'm sorry, liver or heart. Sometimes lung. I don't ever use tripe or colon because quite frankly it stinks. And we don't use kidney. And just an FYI, I get asked this a lot, gizzards on chickens and turkeys that doesn't count as an organ meat. So generally it's heart or liver for us for an organ meat. If it's chickens, sometimes it's lung. If we know that we're butchering chickens just for the dogs, then we will not scrape the lungs out, and we will let those remain in the carcass, and we'll just go ahead and cook that when we cook the whole chicken. So sorry if that was TMI for some people, but that's the real life of Ashley's homestead. So anywho, we are going to start this up. This is frozen catfish, and I am going to set it on low for 8 hours. We've got our rice thawing here, and it will go in because it's already cooked. And I just need to get 1.5 pounds of vegetables cut up and ready to go in. You know how much I need. So, ooh, I don't think this is gonna go very well at all. I think what I'm gonna do wow, really? Okay. So, I think what I'm gonna do with these, see, I've never let my patty pans get this big, and well, truth be told, I've never grown patty pans, and these got away from me when I was on vacation. So I think man, I don't know what the best option is for these. They are full on cured and winter squash at this point. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to save these patty pan squash as treats for the chickens. I think I'll give the chickens one a day and let them pick out the innards and eat these. I think that's what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do with these. Because I just don't think that there's any way to process them safely. I mean, it's like trying to cut a pumpkin. And I just don't think it's worth it. I have so much squash, I just don't think it's worth it. Okay, change plants. Come on, people. Here you go, chickens. Yep, I think that's what I'll do with those. I think those are going to be strictly for decoration. That pretty dahlia. I've been staying on top of my treatments, trying to get rid of the grasshoppers. Look at that dahlia. Lord, that chihuahua, I'm telling you. Bee! That's why I don't get anything done. Bossy! Get in the house. Hunting fool. For anybody that's wondering what kind of squash this is a rampante. You guys have seen yourselves, my dogs go in the garden frequently and get their own vegetables. And as a dog groomer, I have seen several dogs that are vegetarians. I'm not saying that I agree with that. I'm just saying that I think that some dogs do better on certain things than others, and this works for my dogs. My dog's heavy on the vegetables in the summertime and not so much in the wintertime. You know, in the wintertime we don't have an abundance of vegetables, but in the summertime not only do they usually get more vegetables in their home cooked food, but they still steal vegetables out of the garden. Go into the pot with the catfish. And we'll let that all cook and get yummy. In the meantime, okay, it's 8 o'clock, which means it's time to bring the kids in from pasture. But there's a couple things that I want to do first. One is I got to turn the water off for the garden. And 2, I want to spray with Neem to keep working on my pest pressure. So I'm going to spray a good portion of the garden with Neem. My Neem sprayer is broken. I need to get a new one. That's as fast as I'll go, you guys. This girl doesn't usually run unless something's chasing her. So, feel fortunate that I ran for you. I don't just run for anybody. He's like, what's going on? Uh-oh. How come Mama's running? Well, you guys, that was fun and real. I hope you guys had a great day. It was a great Saturday for me. I will catch you on the next one. Yours truly.